The next party that gets in is reform. We have 4 years to make that happen. British culture is British history. British history is born, this country is born on the values of Christianity. When we finally get into power. Up the reform. Thank you so much.
What you heard, from Anne, from James, and then from Ant there, some of the points about trust and integrity, our foundation of Christianity, really powerful, strong stuff you never hear from other political parties. They're embarrassed to talk about this stuff. And what I say is, actually, you've got to tell it as it is.
When did the British leadership finally lose control of the situation? This is a question bitterly asked by Katie Hopkins, and she is not afraid to tell the truth to her face. Her criticism of Keir Starmer sounds very ruthless. She believes that his decisions are increasingly distancing Britain from its historical roots, and this causes her deep concern. Hopkins argues that under Starmer's leadership, the country is losing its uniqueness and identity, especially because of his soft and indifferent stance on immigration. She openly calls Starmer a weak leader when it comes to protecting borders, and is not shy about sharing her opinion with others. According to her, borders are no longer secure, and British culture is slowly but surely dissolving into chaos. Her frustration and anger are obvious. Each new decision, in her opinion, only adds fuel to the fire, instead of somehow improving the situation. Starmer may think that everything is under control, but Hopkins and many others are beginning to seriously question whether he is really the leader Britain needs in these turbulent and troubled times. It's time to act, not just observe, and this awareness is becoming more and more urgent.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where Labour have announced that they are the party for business. And you know that because they were in a business when they announced it. Meanwhile, Angela Rayner was in a mosque saying that Labour are the party for Palestinians. So if you're a Palestinian businessman, Labour are 100% the party for you. It also explains why Diane Abbott hasn't been allowed back into the fold yet. The human calculator was last seen wearing 2 different shoes but for the same foot.
Hopkins doesn't just express her disappointment, she furiously points out the deep cracks in leadership that are becoming more apparent every day. Let's remember Christmas, when families come together full of hopes and expectations of the new year. But while many are enjoying a festive dinner, newspapers are exploding with headlines about the record number of migrants arriving in the UK. And Middleton, known for his serious approach, did not hold back and bluntly called it a clear sign of leadership failure. It's not just the numbers that matter to him, but also the catastrophic consequences of ignoring this problem. He raised the troubling question of what uncontrolled borders mean for national security, cultural identity, and trust in government. His words resonate in the hearts of many who have been feeling anxious for a long time. How can a country function normally if it is unclear who is entering its territory and for what purpose?
Those that don't know, I do a TV show called SAS, Who Dares Wins. And what I do with individuals, I bring them into a camp. I close those gates. Let's call it the border. Now what do I do once I've secured my camp? They feel safe. I make sure that people are safe and I start stripping them down, and then I build them back up to go out into the world and to achieve. Make them realise what they're capable of. I make them identify their true selves, who they really are. I give them an identity. What's British identity? British culture. What's British culture? British history. Why is that being eradicated? Why is that being trampled all over? Why aren't we allowed to be the umbrella culture of this country?
In response, Starmer continues to assure that he is the one who is able to bring about the necessary changes, but this belief is being severely tested. Critics such as Middleton argue that Starmer's policies are reactive and lack the necessary foresight and urgency to address these issues. The Christmas arrivals symbolize more than just a border issue. They point to a leadership that seems to be losing control and doesn't know how to handle the situation. This wave of discontent penetrates not only the ranks of politicians or journalists, but also the hearts of ordinary people. They ask painful questions. Why isn't the government taking more drastic measures? Why do we see these spikes at critical moments? Every unanswered question only reinforces the growing sense of distrust and despair that is engulfing the country.
Those values have worked for years, centuries and centuries to get us where we are today. The moment we lose our identity, guess what we lose? Our purpose, our focus, our direction. When I look at the borders, I'm almost disgusted that our Royal Navy, the best Navy in the world, no shadow of a doubt, we have the best Navy in the world, are being put on the back burner, not allowed to do their jobs. Wow. The best Navy in the world aren't allowed to do their job, i.e. protect our waters. Of course, I haven't got a secure camp. We haven't got a secure camp. because we don't know who's coming in. They're certainly not benefiting the environment, they're certainly not adhering to the rules and regulations, and they're certainly not benefiting us as a nation. Yes, we are accepting, yes, we will bring everyone under that umbrella. Adhere to our rules and regulations, respect our culture, you can come in and play. Remember, identity!
The holiday season is rapidly coming to an end, and the pressure on Starmer is increasing every day. The public is watching the situation with bated breath, waiting and demanding real, tangible solutions. How long can he stay afloat by relying on empty promises when people are demanding changes right now? Questions about immigration and leadership are becoming more insistent, and Ant Middleton delivered a speech that shocked many to the core. Middleton did not just criticize, he boldly and frankly assessed the current state of the UK and called for necessary changes. His words touched not only politics, but also the very essence of the nation, emphasizing that many feel their identity slipping away. Middleton did not mince words when talking about blurring boundaries, both physical and moral. For him, it is important not only who comes to the country, but also what the UK itself is like. He believes that the lack of control reflects a deeper problem: the leadership has lost touch with its responsibilities and with the people.
What you'll get, you can ask for somewhere to live, a cash allowance, or both as an asylum seeker / illegal immigrant. Housing, you'll be given somewhere to live if you need it. This could be a flat, a house, a hostel, or bed and breakfast. I do hope they give illegals breakfast in bed. After all, they've earned it, what with coming across the channel on a lilo. Cash support, you'll get £37.75 for each person in your household. What a bargain. That will be loaded onto a debit card and you can get your cash from a cash machine. How lovely. If you've been refused asylum, so these are people that have no right to be here, you'll still be given somewhere to live and £35 per person on a payment card. I mean, why not? Now, if you're preggers, it gets even better. If you're a pregnant mum, you can get £3 extra. If you've got a baby under 1, £5 extra. I mean, children are just a real bonus if you're an illegal.
Middleton made it clear that this situation is unstable and dangerous. He warned that without taking drastic measures, the country risks losing what makes it unique and unrepeatable. Katie Hopkins took a moment to support Middleton's point of view. She noted that Starmer's solutions seem to only exacerbate existing problems rather than solve them. Hopkins asked a reasonable question: why, despite the growing difficulties, is Starmer still confident that he can lead the country in the right direction? Her criticism was not only about immigration, but also about the broader picture of chaos under his leadership.
Maternity payment, you can apply for a one-off £300 maternity payment if your baby's due in 8 weeks. Makes all the more sense to bring pregnant women along for the ride over the channel, doesn't it? If you've been refused asylum, you can apply for one-off £250 maternity payment for the baby we said couldn't come here, and you who aren't supposed to be here, who's also living in a house because we gave you that and now we're giving you money. And you can get healthcare, free NHS service, see a doctor or go to a hospital. You get free prescriptions for your medicine, free dental care for your teeth. How lovely. Free eyesight tests and help paying for glasses. You can get education for your children. That will be free, and they can get free school meals. This is what we're publicising for illegals as to what they can get from day one when they land in this country, and even if their asylum process is
Middleton's speech resonated not only because of the content, but also because it contained words of frustration that many feel but rarely hear so clearly and openly. It wasn't just criticism, it was a powerful call to action. Hopkins responded to this call by expanding her criticism of Starmer's vision, or rather lack of it. Taken together, Middleton's speech and Hopkins' comment highlight a leadership vacuum that is becoming increasingly palpable. The message is clear: change is not just necessary, it is more urgent than ever. Will Starmer understand this urgent hint, or will the pressure only increase until the country is on the brink of a precipice? What do you think about this video? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you later.